So you want to buy a mountain bike and you're looking for an entryway in with a quality brand name, and you have probably looked up the Trek Marlin series. Well, you're in luck, because today in this James the Bike Guy video, we are checking out the 2023 Trek Marlin 4. And the Marlin 4 is their least expensive flavor of entry-level mountain bike hardtail action with front suspension and an aluminum frame with the capability to do more than just trail riding. So if this kind of thing's going to be interesting to you, I suggest you stick around, and if you find value, be sure to hit subscribe. And without any further ado, it's time to check out the Trek Marlin 4. Now this Marlin 4 is the Gen 2 version. It's been out for a couple of years, but this is what the Marlin 4 is on sale today in 2023. And what we have in front of us here is a bike that's set up with a nice aluminum frame, a 29 or 27.5 inch wheel size, depending on the frame size that you get. More on that later. Front suspension with 100 millimeters of travel, and then the capability to run racks, bags, things like that on the bike, to do a bit of bike packing, to do some touring riding, and of course commuting as well. And this bike is one of the most common bikes purchased when somebody's looking to get into riding with a high quality bike shop quality bike. And with a bike shop quality bike, that means that it's going to come assembled, it comes from a reputable place, and you don't have to worry about things like unknown brands, or if something breaks, having to replace the whole bike versus just a component. But for that, you spend $629 on this bike, at least as of May of 2023, to get a silver alpha aluminum frame, which has some butted tubing. It has internal cable routing, which is a sweet feature to see because all the cables go inside, keep the bike nice and clean. Up front, you have a XCE fork from SR Suntour. So SR Suntour fork with 28 millimeter stanchions, the ability to adjust the front end with preload adjust, which means you can make about a 5% or so adjustment in how firm the fork is off the top of the hit. And that's all connected to disc brakes, as well as a 7-speed drivetrain in back and 3 speeds up front. Now, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned that this bike can come either in 29er, like we see in front of us here, or 27.5. And that's because Trek believes in something called smart wheel size, where they choose the wheel size based on the frame and rider size. Effectively, matching those two up allows you to be able to get the best fit of frame and wheel, because for the most part, the larger the diameter of wheel, the better the bike's going to ride off-road as well as carry speed on-road. But with really big wheels, it makes small bikes a little more difficult to fit, and small wheels on big bikes look funny and leave a little bit of performance on the table. So on sizes extra small and small, the bike comes with 27.5 inch wheels, and sizes medium and up, it comes with 29 inch wheels. The specs though are going to be predominantly the same, featuring XR2 comp tires, which run in a 29 by 2.0 width, bit of a medium traction tire, so it's going to roll decent enough on the road, but also have some traction when you go off-road. 29 inch wheels or 27.5 inch wheels that feature aluminum rims and stainless steel spokes with some brass nipples for a pretty durable connection. And then the brakes are operated via a mechanical disc brake setup. Now, disc brakes are going to give a bit of extra braking capacity over the traditional rim brakes that you might have seen clamping on a rim. It also means in bad weather or muddy weather, the brakes are going to work a bit better than rim brakes. And if you hit a pothole and you get a little bit of a bend in your wheel, it's less likely to keep you from riding. Now, these being mechanical, they operate with a cable-driven system, just like a traditional rim brake would have. And that's a place where when you go up to, say, the Marlin 5, you go to a hydraulic disc brake setup for a bit more braking capacity. Now in back, the shifting is done through this 3x7 system. And the derailleurs are a Shimano derailleur. It's the Tourney system, so the beginning level setup. But up front, it's a 3-speed, so you have a low, medium, and hard gear. Larger the ring up front, the faster you go, but the more effort it takes. And out back, the rear is shifted with this Tourney rear derailleur through a 7-speed freewheel. So in back, smaller ring is actually the faster and harder gear, bigger ring is the easier and slower gear, and that's because in a drivetrain system, they mirror each other. Now, shifting for those comes along with that mirror, where basically on the handlebar, you've got this thumb button to go to an easier gear in the rear speed. So right is rear. You've got the indication of 1 through 7, index finger to go to a harder gear. But interestingly, on the left-hand side, the shifting, the 1, 2, 3, is actually done the opposite way. So top one goes to an easier gear and thumb button goes harder. And that's because on your drivetrain system, these derailleurs are being operated by a cable, and then when you release that to go back to the smaller ring, it's operated via a spring. So just like the gearing is mirrored, so are the shifters. Interesting thing to note. Well, anyways, on the back, that freewheel setup is connected up to those 29-inch wheels. It does go through a good quality KMC chain, and all of that matches up to the part spec of this bike for $629. Now, for some of the usability and compatibility for other things, you'll notice we've got water bottle mounts on the bike. You do have the ability in back to run a rack as well as fender setup. The front fork really can't run a fender, although there are a few adapters, little fender setups that you can zip tie on and to get those together. And then the cockpit, you're perched up with some aluminum componentry. So this is a nice wide aluminum handlebar, operates with a 31.8 bar clamp, which is a larger bar clamp diameter. It's the modern size, nice to see on the bike for compatibility in the future and also control. And then one of the things I really like about this bike is the grips. So you see this little bolt right there? That is what's called a lock-on grip, which effectively means when you slide this grip on, you tighten it down with that bolt, and these aren't going to move around on you. If you've had a bike for a while, you probably know over time the rubber grips start getting a little, tacky, and they start slipping around. With a lock-on like that, that's a thing of the past. So pretty cool to see, because normally you got to upgrade that. Out back, Bontrager saddle. Not my most comfortable saddle in my opinion, but that's up to you. Easy to change if you want to. And then you're on a 31.6 alloy seat post with a quick release to make easy adjustment of the seat post up and down. So with all that, I think it's time to now find out what this Trek Marlin 4 comes in and weighs. And the actual weight of the Trek Marlin 4 in a size large is going to come in and weigh 31.86 pounds. Thanks for joining me to check out this Trek Marlin 4. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're at it, be sure to hit subscribe and definitely browse the channel so you can see more videos like this to check out as well.